It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
Number 6, be efficient with resources. This is, look, we all, I think this is the biggest thing I could tell people. I was talking about this with my trainer who helps me exercise, is that we were talking about the 10,000 hours, because I told him we'd gone to see Malcolm Gladwell, the whole 10,000 hours to becoming an expert. And he goes, I also do not believe just anybody can be great at anything they want to as long as they practice it. There's also that you have to have talents that are provided to you that you're born with, an aptitude. But then when you start doing your 10,000 hours, it awakens something that allows. So the whole point of me mentioning this is that I think everybody out there has something they could truly be world-class in. It's a matter of you trying enough things out, and then when you find what you're passionate about, be efficient with your resources and attack it. Actually go into it and figure out how this can be something that helps you with longer-term goals. Develops the talent to where it's something that's worth a lot of money. There's a lot to this. It rolls into work, it rolls into time, and it rolls into money.
That's what I was going to say, Brian, is that so often when we say be efficient with resources, the immediate thought is, these guys are going to talk about how to not waste money and make wise financial decisions. It's actually a whole lot more than that. Your resource is not just the dollar bills that you have in your pocket, not just the dollar bills that you got in there. It's how you actually employ your time and your talents. And we think that those that are successful figured out how to capitalize in those 3 areas you said, in their work, in their time, as well as in their finances or their money.
So let's kind of hit these really quickly. Each one of them. Work. Guys, if you are, because it's one of those things, we talk about our work family and then our regular family that was our blood family. Work family, you spend a surprisingly large amount of time with your work family. So if you find that you're chewing your fingernails on Sunday and you just don't feel fulfilled, think about that, because that's something that's probably, something subconsciously knocking on the door telling you you might need a change. Think very long term and figure out how you use those resources of work efficiently.
And when we think about financially successful people that we either work with or that we see, one common thread we see through them is they don't view their work as just simply a job. All right, I clock in and clock out. There's some greater purpose. They're working in their job to do something or accomplish something or achieve something, even if it's not like, some world-changing occupation, but they approach it as though in the part they can influence, they can have a very drastic influence, and they work towards that longer-term goal, something kind of bigger than themselves. It's amazing how when you have that mentality and how you approach your work, how it manifests in all the other areas of your life.
That's a good transition talking about time. Because, Bo, and I think you put this on, we had a whiteboard starting in Georgia, and you scribbled across it. What did you put across that whiteboard?
Don't get busy doing nothing.
And that hit me, because I will tell you, I think even when you're moving in the right direction, you can busy yourself with stuff that really is busy work. It doesn't have anything that builds on this huge platform or success or long-term goals that you're trying to build on. I can tell you when I started my company in 2002, I spent a lot of time balancing checkbooks, reconciling the books, because that was so much easier than trying to go drum up business. But I felt like, man, I'm focusing on the business. I'm spending my time in the business. This is good. No, that was called Brian didn't want to go talk to people to try to get business, because talking to people might lead to rejection, so make sure you're not wasting your time. It's a very valuable resource. We just, Boone Pickens, we read that quote that he said that, he passed away a few months ago, and he wrote a letter. And one of the things is he said to college classes, he would give every dollar he had to be sitting in the exact same seat they have, because they get to do it all over again with time. Time is such a very valuable resource. Do not waste it.
Yeah, I think so often we see folks who they don't recognize when they're young how valuable time can be. And we're talking about like compounding interest and that sort of idea. But even more so, if you don't recognize that the time you put in now can have a huge impact later on, how hard you work in the early years of your career, the things that can set you up later in your career to maybe not have to work so hard or to achieve different levels of success. If you don't realize that, if you're the one of those people that just lets life happen, you are not utilizing your time in the most efficient way possible so that you can maximize really the limited time that we have here on this earth.
And that leads to the last resource that we use efficiently, which is money.
Yep.
And something I want to talk about this is that because this interrelates with not only work, not only with time, but also with money, is that, guys, if you're not writing your dreams down, they never have a chance of becoming a reality.
Exactly
So
right.
make sure that you are, especially when it comes to things like financial goals, go ahead and create what is that bucket list that I'm hoping to accomplish both in the short term. You could do a year goal, 3-year goal, 10-year goal, and let those things, because as soon as you start recording, you wake up something in your subconscious that starts moving the ball forward.
That's exactly
you have to have some type of plan. But there's also, what else can you do to be efficient with your resources with money, Bo?
Yeah, the thing that we always say is every soldier in your army of dollar bills can have a purpose and should have a purpose. We see this all the time where folks leave behind soldiers, whether it's at an old 401k or an old IRA, or maybe you have too much money sitting in cash, or maybe you're just not someone who's recognizing that I have a plan for how I'm going to put my dollars to work to ultimately build myself towards financial independence. If you're not utilizing your army's just going to get fat and lazy, and you are not going to win the war of financial abundance.
So making sure you're consolidating
That's right.
and doing things so that every dollar has a plan and you're
Yep.
being a very good field general. I mean, we do things, shopping ninja.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
one of those things. Now, I want you to, there's a fine line between not getting busy doing nothing, but just making sure that you're not wasting resources. I'll tell you, I have been going on a tear with warranties in my house. I bought, and now we didn't talk about this, but it is driving my family crazy, is because a few years ago, I changed every light bulb in the house to LEDs as they went bad. So I don't want y'all to think we threw away perfectly good light bulbs, but I was changing all light bulbs to LEDs. These things are supposed to have 5-year life expectancies, right? They're all dying after 2 years. So I got fed up, and I was like, son of a gun, these things are supposed to last 5 years. So I went on the website. All you had to do was I took pictures of all these light bulbs together, wrote the companies, because there was 2 manufacturers. I have a whole bunch of brand new free.
gaggle of light
So I'm just
bulbs.
telling you, you can waste resources. That would probably be considered a waste of getting busy doing nothing, but it feels good personally. The big things, and that's what I want you to do, is focus on the big things.
That's right.
Like I just renewed my homeowners and an auto insurance. I questioned my broker on what the cost was. I magically got a $900 check in the mail because he's like, oh, the underwriters figured out there were some additional ways to save, because I think they got nervous I was going to move the account. There are big decisions that you can make with your resources to make sure you're not getting busy doing nothing.
But you have to keep your eye on the ball and make sure you're focusing on those things that matter. If you are laser focused on trying to cut the weekly latte out of your budget, and on the other hand, you're not out there maximizing the employer match in your 401k plan, you are missing the mark on the things that are truly impactful in your financial circumstance. So make sure that you keep your eye on the ball and understand what big decisions you should be focusing on when it comes to your finances.